A Muni train operator here in the city is one of the most sought-after driver jobs within the agency.
But thanks to a former instructor, there are new questions tonight about whether all the train operators are qualified. KPIX 5 Susie Steimle has our original report.
I enjoy what I do. I enjoy teaching.
Mustafa Muhammad is a transit supervisor in Muni's light rail department. It's a high-ranking position in what's considered the most elite division of the SFMTA. Despite that, he's taking a risk, blowing the whistle on what he says he's experienced as a rail instructor for students applying for the job.
First and foremost, it is a safety concern. We are allowing people that are unqualified out there operating the rails.
Mustafa says he was in charge of coaching the students, mostly Muni drivers, through an intensive 40-day hands-on course. He says with every new class, he felt pressure to pass some who he felt were not qualified.
How unqualified are we talking? What did you see?
There are people that can't even tell what track they're on.
Testing records for one student show he was disciplined for a serious violation, failure to stop at a stop sign, and given what should have been one more chance.
He was put on his last chance, where one more mistake and he would have been eliminated from training. He went on to make multiple mistakes after that, including running stop signs, and he was allowed to continue.
Another student was also written up in a conference for failing to recognize a stop sign. A week later, the student again failed a brake test and was retested, failed a second time, then passed the brake test on the third time after review. Mustafa recommended this person be eliminated from the program, but he says his decision was overruled. Now that student is an operator with 2 major derailments on his record.
So you're saying you tried to fail certain students because you thought that they were just not safe to be operating,
Yes.
and they went on anyway?
Yes. I was pressured into changing evaluations and omitting certain mistakes from the evaluations.
While some students who did poorly during LRV training went on to become Muni operators, Mustafa says he felt pressured to fail other students that he felt should have passed.
It didn't matter what I said the second go round. It was already set up.
Algerine Clayton has been driving Muni buses for 20 years and says she studied hard to try to get into the higher paying LRV division.
All my written tests were good, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2. My road testing was excellent.
She failed her final test, but in her case was not given a last chance.
I was one of those that they didn't want at Green.
So you were set up to fail?
Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely.
She says Mustafa was known within the program for getting rid of the students she believes he was told were not wanted there. This transit operator said the same thing.
Mustafa was getting orders to wash people out in terms of disqualifying them from the program.
She chose to keep her identity secret for fear of retaliation.
And you said Mustafa's the reason you failed out of the program?
Yes.
Do you think you deserve that?
No, I don't.
Muni turned down our request for an interview, but in a statement told us we take allegations like these very seriously, which is why we initiated an investigation. Mustafa admits he's been part of the problem.
So do you feel guilty about that, or
Yes, I do.
complicit?
Yes.
Since speaking out, he says he suffered retaliation. He's no longer allowed to train students, a job he loved, but says he couldn't keep doing with such a heavy conscience.
If we are dishonest as a training department, what does that say for the rest of the agency? We are responsible for the type of operators that go out there.
In San Francisco, Susie Steimle, KPIX 5.
And we have learned the San Francisco City Attorney has received several complaints from drivers about favoritism in the light rail training department.
The office wouldn't comment further, but we will keep you posted.